Thank you for everybody kicking this off early. I will ask the members of this particular budget committee to please introduce themselves, starting with the volunteers.
Well, I'm Ed Gronke from the Jennings Lodge area.
Thank you, Ed. Christina, do we have anybody online?
We have 4 members online. Chris, if you'd like to kick it off.
Sure, I'm Chris Hartson. I'm a citizen of Happy Valley.
Blaine, if you'd like to go next.
I'm Blaine Scowheedy, also a citizen of Happy Valley.
And Fred.
Good morning, Fred Charlton, also a resident of Happy Valley.
Okay, and Jennifer, if you can unmute.
Oh, the wonders of Zoom.
Like she's unmuting. Yeah. Oh, there she is. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer Huang. Yes, sorry about that. Jennifer Huang, citizen of Happy Valley.
Thank you very much. I will now ask for a nomination for chair of this budget committee.
Good morning. This is Chris Hartson, citizen member of the Budget Committee. I nominate Ed Gronke as chair of the 2021-2022 Clackamas County Development Agency Budget Committee.
Do I hear a second?
This is Fred Charlton. I second the motion.
A motion has been made to nominate Ed Gromke as chair, and it has been seconded. We will have a voice vote on this, correct, Gary? Yes. All in favor of Ed Gromke as chair, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? None. Well, congratulations, Mr. Gromke. You are the chair. You now have the gavel.
Thank you, Chair Smith. I will entertain a nomination for vice chair.
This is Blaine Scowheedy. I nominate Fred Charlton as vice chair of the Development Agency Budget Committee for the 2021-2022 budget.
This is Chris Hartson. I second the nomination.
It's been moved and seconded that Fred Charlton be elected vice chair. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? I'll now call for nominations for secretary.
Mr. Chair, this is Fred Charlton. I nominate Blaine Scowheedy as the Secretary of the Development Agency Budget Committee for 21-22 budget.
Is there a second?
This is Jennifer Huang. I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that Blaine Scowheedy be elected secretary. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll now ask David Queener of the Development Agency to explain the budget.
Thank you and good morning. Pleased to present our 21-22 Development Agency budget to you this morning. Again, my name is Dave Queener. I am the program supervisor for the agency. Am I doing this, or I thought she was doing it? I know, I'm like this one. Who's
Next slide, please.
next slide? Sorry. I was with the mouse. Sorry about that. So in 2020, our major accomplishments for these districts, in each district we have 3 of them. They have their unique objectives in each district. Our town center district, we are focused on doing projects out there that stimulate the growth of goods and services in the area. And to meet that goal, we are currently under construction on a major project out there in the regional center, which is the Clackamas Regional Center Mobility Improvement Project. That's a $23.4 million project that will be completed here in the fall. So we will have funds budgeted for this coming fiscal year as well to finish that project. The Clackamas industrial area, again, our goal out there is to provide the infrastructure necessary to support industrial development in that area. And the one project we started this last year in design is the Pheasant Court improvement project. There's some drainage and flooding issues out there that's impacting some industrial properties. So we're out there getting a design done to eliminate that problem for those properties. In the North Clackamas North Clackamas revitalization area, the goal of that area is to stabilize the housing out there and to provide the mixed uses needed for that area. And that district in particular, we have a lot of things that are going on now and into the future. We completed design for the D Street project, which is now under construction. And design began on the Linwood Avenue Improvement Project last year as well. We also have several programs out there that seek to assist property owners and helping to do improvements to their properties when there's deficiencies and whatnot. And this last year, we awarded 11 home repair grants. Those are in the form of a forgivable loan to those properties to make those improvements. And we also initiated an analysis to go forward with the bond that you'll see that we're proposing for this next fiscal year. Next slide. Our targeted measures that we have out there, we always try to focus to maximize what we spend to put in what we call sticks and bricks, get the money spent on the ground on improvements. And we consistently target 85% in each district of our budget expenses towards those capital-related construction projects. As you'll see in 2021, we did meet that in the town center. We were down in the Clackamas industrial area a little bit. The reason for that is we budgeted quite a bit of funds for willing buyer, willing seller basis of acquiring property for future right-of-way. So that is why that is down a little bit. Again, because it's a willing buyer, willing seller situation. And in the North Clackamas revitalization area, that's down a little bit just because our Linwood project that's currently in design, we anticipated that going to construction during this fiscal year, but that is getting pushed out to 21-22. And in addition, our programs that we have out there is down just a little bit this year as well. And I think that is probably a result of the pandemic and folks kind of reining in their finances as well, because there is a participation on their end as well. So we hope that that accelerates this coming year. Next slide. Our proposed budget for the development agency this year is $42,043,286. This includes 0 general fund dollars, and approximately 5.95% is spent by the county. We really contract out a lot of the services and work that we do. Next slide. This couple things just to highlight on this before we go to the next slide is we are only collecting tax revenue in the form of tax increment in one district. That's the NCRA district, and that's the I believe it's 3.55 million. The majority of our revenue is coming from funds that we already have in our operating funds, and also the $12 million bond that we're going to be pursuing for this coming year. And a majority of our expenses, again, we put towards our capital-related projects. Next slide. As you'll see there, with part of our revenue there, taxes of $3.53 million. Our federal, state, and local revenue, the $1.75 million, that is a system development charge that's coming into our budget, and that is for our Clackamas Regional Center Mobility Improvement Project. The $12 million that you see there is the bond that we anticipate issuing this next fiscal year. $1.66 million in revenue is anticipation of property sales. We do have property that we hold for redevelopment and anticipate the sale of at least one property this year for redevelopment purposes. On the capital outlay side, again, $6.623 million towards our capital-related projects. We do have debt service there, and that is for debt service payments on the bonds. And also, you'll see the interfund transfer both in both budgets there, and that is bringing the dollars from our bond sale over into our operating fund. Next slide. We historically have had 5 different funds. 2 of the districts have had debt service funds, and then all 3 districts also have an operating fund. This year, we are closing the debt service fund for the town center. That's because we are getting down to where we have very limited resources. There's not a need to have that fund anymore, so we are closing that. The debt service fund for the North Clackamas revitalization area is $21,168,748. The North Clackamas revitalization operating fund is $11,634,635. The Clackamas Town Center Fund is $5,789,310, and the Clackamas Industrial Area Fund is $3,451,093. Again, just to point out, we do not utilize any general fund for our projects or districts. Next slide. Some significant changes, again, with the $12 million bond that we anticipate issuing. That's going to allow us to accelerate some projects out in the North Clackamas revitalization area. Again, design on Linwood. We've started design also on Monroe Street improvements. There's also a 79th Avenue intersection project that will start initiation, as well as some other parks projects and whatnot, so we can get done out there. Construction on the Full Road Station area, that is our D Street project that will be completed here in October. That's completing 2 new roadways that's helping facilitate redevelopment of our Fuller Road Station area plan in the northern part of the regional center. And also, as I'd mentioned, there's very limited funds remaining in the town center district. So following completion of our CRC project out there, there will be limited ability to do much more out in that area. We do have a few properties, that, as I mentioned, out there available for redevelopment. When those do sell, that will provide some revenue to do some other future projects potentially. Next slide. And that ends my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Dan. So with regard to our summary of revenue and expenses, we need to make 2 adjustments to our 2020-2021 year-end projection. In Fund 450, the CTC Operating Fund account 39110 transfers in from other funds should reflect $12,680,000 to allow for the closure of Fund 350. This will result in an increase of $130,000 to account 50000 unappropriated ending fund balance. In Fund 353 NCRA Tax Increment Fund, account 38100, miscellaneous revenue should reflect $100. This will result in a decrease of $1,400 to account 50000 unappropriated ending fund balance. Thank you, Dan.
Chair Smith has a question.
So Chair, you would call on Chair Smith. Ed.
You would call.
I'm sorry?
You would call.
We'll now open the public comment period. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to testify or make comments? If not, do we have anyone online?
Thank you, Chair. Now is the time for public comment on the Clackamas County Development Agency budget. If any members of the public would like to comment on the Development Agency budget, please utilize the raise hand feature on Zoom now. That's at the top or bottom, depending on your device. If you're on the phone, you can hit *9 to raise your hand. Seeing none, Chair.
At this point, we'll close the public comment period. I think Chair Smith, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Chair Gromke. I have a couple questions. Well, thank you for closing the Clackamas Town Center District. It was due to close. I notice, everybody has noticed, there's a project currently being completed along Sunnyside Road in front of the town center. Is that the last projected project for this district?
That is the last project that we're anticipating out there, unless, as I had mentioned, we do have, I believe, 3 properties out there that we have for sale for redevelopment. And when those properties do sell, that revenue comes back into that district that we could use for other projects if
I see. Yeah, I saw those highlighted on the map. Would those be the yellow
Yes.
highlights on the map?
That is
Okay,
correct.
Good. Yeah, well, I hope you do sell them. Maybe, up in the private sector can develop them.
Yeah, we do actively market those.
Good.
Yes.
Excellent. Can you tell me when your other districts are due to retire?
The Clackamas Industrial Area District, of course, we do not bring in any revenue into that district anymore. That is, I think in 2006, we quit.
That
bringing
expired
in.
in 2006.
Yes.
What about the other districts?
The other district, believe the NCRA district would probably be at about, I think it's projected, our maximum indebtedness would take us out about 12 more years, I believe, is the maximum that would go.
So in the Clackamas Industrial District, do we own any properties in that district like we do in the Town Center District that could potentially be sold, and then you would put money back into that fund?
We have just remaining is just one small piece. We recently sold and had redeveloped the what we call the Clackamas Industrial Area Opportunity Site. So that is completely redeveloped with the exception of approximately about 2 acres up on the northern part of that. But other than that, we do not have any other properties out there.
And what do you plan to do with those 2 acres?
Well, currently, that's a portion of it's being leased for the Veterans Village. And I believe that lease goes
To be determined.
to be determined, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So yes, again, as soon as we can, we would market that as well for redevelopment.
But it's being used, correct?
It is being used.
Okay, well then continue to use it.
Yes.
It has a good purpose, yeah. That's all the questions I have, Chair Gromke.
Commissioner Savas.
Yeah, so just on the Sunnyside Road project to Harmony, so when do we anticipate that portion being completed?
That project will be completed in mid-October of this year.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you recall, one of the priorities we had in our advisory committee, which you were a part of, and others, was a discussion on those east-west connectivity projects. And that was the biggest project that had the biggest return on investment, that impacted and benefited the most around the region or around that particular area. So that was our priority.
Okay.
Commissioner Schrader.
So that
Sorry.
intersection will be, the whole intersection improvement will be completed as we initially conceived, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
All the high-risk elements, like the abutments and things like that, have already been poured, so they appear to be on schedule.
Yes.
Well, it's good to see that we're winding this one down and putting those revenues to good use. And on the industrial area, just one comment. Wasn't that long ago where we had those properties were still vacant, not developed, and we sold substantial amount of property in acres, and that is now being occupied as employment land. So great success in that area. So great to see that is nearing its termination.
Thank you.
Commissioner Schrader.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask some questions or make a comment about the North Clackamas revitalization area, because has always been, for me, kind of a very favorite project, because essentially what it was using tax increment financing for an area that was blighted and didn't have appropriate sewer there. So essentially, that's an area where we've actually revitalized an area primarily for housing in a way that I think has been very positive. And how much longer does that have to go?
I believe it's approximately 12 years
Oh,
at
that's right, you
maximum,
said that a
yes.
few minutes ago.
Yes.
But that wasn't, to me, that is something that is a good use of tax increment financing, because it really has added value and improved the lives of folks there, and actually, between the sewer and the road infrastructure, and the programs really that you pulled together with those dollars for families that may not have had the opportunity to improve their area, to improve their home, improve, where they lived. It's, for me, an example of how we really could help with our housing situation. It's been very successful. It's kept people there, it's given them added value, and it's really kind of made it a healthier environment. So thanks for that.
I want to thank you for those kind words. I think a shout out's in order though as well. As you know, priority one there was the sewer service. We had folks that were losing their houses because their septic systems, they couldn't occupy them anymore.
Right.
And it deserves a shout out to Water Environment Services, who is an amazing partner in providing that service with agency funds and also with assistance they're providing us. So it was a great partnership to provide those needed services to those citizens.
And if I recall, when we first looked at this, we wanted to revitalize the area with the intent of not displacing people.
Absolutely, yes.
So to me, this is like a model that if you really want to not gentrify and not displace people, this is one way to do it. And it was a good use of the dollars. So,
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
I got one.
Yes, Commissioner Shaw.
I don't understand the bond that you had. Does that $12 million bond, is that part of the $42 million?
It is.
But that's a bond that has not been let out yet, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's an assumption that's going to be approved, is that right?
Yes, and we've gone through that analysis, and we do have that ability to bond. But yes, we anticipate bringing that revenue in this next fiscal year.
Okay.
That includes discussions with bond counsel. We've met with bond counsel. There's certain work that needs to be done for urban renewal districts to look at like their maximum indebtedness analysis. And that work just wrapped up a little bit ago, which was a precursor to then going out for a bond. A bond was always contemplated as a part of the district.
Okay, so even with the bond, the $42 million has no general fund, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the budget.
Chris Hartson, Citizen Committee member. I move that the committee approve the 2021-2022 budget for the Clackamas County Development Agency as presented, inclusive of the Clackamas Town Center, the Clackamas Industrial Area, and the North Clackamas Revitalization Area.
Is there a second?
Fred Charlton, I second the motion.
All those in favor, please signify. Christine, are you going to poll the commission?
Yes, I'll poll the
Poll
commission.
the committee? Please do so.
We'll start with, let's see, Chris Hartson,
Aye.
Blaine Skoheide. Oh, you're on mute, Blaine.
Aye.
Excellent. Fred Charlton,
Aye.
Jennifer Huang,
Aye.
perfect. Chair Grunke,
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl,
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Commissioner Savas,
Aye.
and Chair Smith.
Aye.
We will now adjourn this committee meeting. Thank you.